Alright, what's up guys? So, wanted to make a quick video on whether to actually use Swiftbrand or not for Stormbrand and Penance Brand. Recently I've been messing around with swapping it out for increased critical damage support in my build. This build, it's using both Stormbrand of Indecision and Penance Brand of Dissipation. I just 1-to-1 gem swap them. And it's mainly a Sanctum runner, which means that I really don't need Swiftbrand because I have so much damage that it expires really fast, and I actually want the brands to last longer. So I'm going to show you a quick damage comparison between Swiftbrand support and increased damage support. So as you notice, they're actually pretty similar. Let me open up my text file. Here it is. So this is the test itself. I went into the video footage and actually went frame by frame to see, which one's faster. And even though they're pretty close, Swiftbrand does come out on top, as you'd expect, because, PoE says it's 20% more damage-ish. And in the actual footage here, I found that Uber Series lasted 82 frames with Swiftbrand and 96 frames with no Swiftbrand or increased critical damage support. And this results in 17% more damage for Swiftbrand against an Uber boss. Yeah, so let me look at the PoB. Pull that up. That one. Okay, here's the PoB. So this is Penance Brand, no Swiftbrand. So we can see we're using increased critical damage support. If I enable this in full DPS, you can see I'm doing 1.9 billion DPS. This is at max ramp. This is basically no mob in the game is going to survive this long unless you're maybe in deep delve, but this build's not tanky enough for that. So in this case, I have 1.9 billion DPS with no Swiftbrand, and then with Swiftbrand, I have 2.1 billion DPS. So it's about 17%, 20% more damage to swap to Swiftbrand. So the main result is if you have low damage, then yes, you probably want to use Swiftbrand, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. Let me get into that. So according to pure numbers, Swiftbrand is better. Now, this depends on what content you're doing. This is a quick duration test. So for duration, this really matters a lot more for mapping and Sanctum, which is why you would not use Swiftbrand in the first place. So for me, this character that I've made is a pure no-hit Sanctum farmer. I've done about, I'm going to say 50 no-hit Sanctums in a row the last couple of days. Not with the thing, because I'm an SSF, I'm actually trying to farm the ring right now, which is why I made this character, but basically the premise of this build is it's full brand attachment range, min-max. Trying to just get as much of that as I can, so that place a brand here, and it jumps all the way over here. Now, the cool thing about this is, pull this back up. The cool thing about this is that without Swiftbrand, I still have enough damage to one-shot every mob in Sanctum and every mob in maps. So I don't use Swiftbrand anymore, basically, because these are the numbers. This is for Stormbrand, which I run in Sanctum. The detached duration without Swiftbrand is 13.02 seconds, whereas the attached duration is 10.85 seconds. Now, if you don't know how brands actually work, these numbers are added together when you're fighting. So suppose you cast a brand. I cast a brand, right? And then, so the detached duration is being counted right now. I have 13 seconds of detached duration it runs through. Now suppose a mob comes into the vicinity, and these brands zap to those. Well, it's adding that 10 seconds onto it. So in total, and under optimal conditions, these brands will last the addition of this, which is 23.87 seconds, right? Now, they're doing about the exact same damage as Swiftbrand itself, but they're lasting 3 times as long. Now, why that's important? Why is that important? Well, in Sanctum, you can think of all the trap rooms, or not trap rooms, but the arena rooms, right? So you go into an arena, I cast a bunch of brands, and then I just run around. That's it. Things spawn all around me. I don't care about them. They're going to die. They're going to be insta-frozen and then deleted. And then my brands will return back to where I casted them. And then more things will spawn, the brands will zap, and then by the time these brands expire, every single room in the game is over. Let me show you an example in Blood Aqueduct. So, here are a bunch of mobs. If I cast my brands here, suppose this is the center of the Sanctum room. They're going to zap over, and then they don't stay over here, they simply return here. So this is important because if these have a max attach range of, I think in my PoB it's about 8 meters, 9 meters, if they're zapping to another, the corner of the room to kill something, and then they stay there, that 10 meters is not going to cover the distance between the far corner of the room to the other far corner of the room, right? It's only going to cover the full distance if they return to the middle. So, by having a ton of duration, I literally only cast in the middle once, and then everything dies. I don't have to worry about casting, and it's really easy for no hit. It basically trivializes it. Okay, I'm going to insert some clips from arena rooms now, from Sanctum, just so you can see what I'm talking about. Alright, so final verdict. Basically, if you have high cast speed, then it matters, but if you don't, then you should always use Swiftbrand, just because, I didn't mention this before, but just because, everything will feel like absolute trash if you don't have cast speed, in the way that cast speed scales activation speed on Penance Brand and Stormbrand. But if you do have high cast speed, like this Inquisitor, for example, if you're an Assassin or a Trickster, basically the result is, yes, you should always use Swiftbrand when you're bossing, and then I would say that you should not use it when you're mapping or when you're running Sanctum. I don't think it's worth it. Simply for the reason that your brands last a lot longer, and then while you're mapping, for example, you can cast them and then infinitely recall them to yourself. Now, if you were to invest in a lot more cooldown recovery for brand recall, then you could literally just, put this on left click and your brands last 13 seconds, killing everything around you. And this would feel really nice. So that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like and sub. Thanks. Bye.